All right, let's do assignment 9.3. First thing is we're trying to find the area of the triangle. And this works when you know the side, angle, side of a triangle. And that's what we have here, side, angle, side. So we take the formula, which is 1/2 times the two sides times the sine of the angle. Put that in your calculator. It's about 81.8 square units. Next one, same thing. Side, angle, side, 1/2 times the two sides times the sine is 67. Put that in your calculator. And you can just plug the whole thing in. That's the beauty of these graphing calculators. So I got 147.28077, but it says round to the nearest tenth, so that'd be 147.3. Okay, number 3. Solve the triangle means to find all 6 pieces of it. Well, 2 angles and a side are given. Angle, side, angle. So I can use the law of sines is going to help me on that. So first thing I would do is to find the other angle, because you know that the angles add together to get 180. So 180 minus 85 minus 47 is 48. Now that's angle A. So sine of 48 over 19, which is side A, equals a sine of 85 over B. Grab your calculator, go 19 times sine of 85. Find an answer, then divide that by the sine of 48, and you get 25.5. Then you're going to have to find side C. So I'm just going to use that same ratio, sine of 48 over 19, only this time I use angle C, sine of 47 divided by C. So 19 times sine of 47, find an answer, divide that by sine of 48, and you get side C as being about 18.7. Number 4, we're still solving triangles. This one we know is side, side, and an angle, so I can still use the law of sines for this. Sine of 104 over 25. If we find B first, which is what we have to do because we know side B, so we're looking for angle B, sine of B over 16. To do that, here's our unknown, so I'm going to multiply these two. 16 times the sine of 104, divide it by 25, but you get a decimal, so then you have to do the inverse sign of the answer, and then you get 38.4. And then I know that 108 minus 104 minus 38.4 is going to be equal to angle B, so angle A. Angle A would then be 37.6. So sine of 37.6 over A is equal to the sine of 104 over 25, that same ratio that we used up here. Here's our unknown, so we go 25 times the sine of 37.6, find an answer, divide by sine of 104, and you get side A to equal about 15.7. Number 5. We have 2 angles and a side, and it's not the side in the middle, but this still works for the law of sines. I do know that all the angles add up to 180, so 180 minus 81 minus 33 is 66. I'm going to use the C's first, so the sine of 81 over 26, and I'm going to solve for A. So I have the sine of 33 over A, 26 times the sine of 33, find an answer, divide by sine of 81, and you get A, which is approximately 14.3. Then to find B, you're going to take that same ratio, sine of 81 over 26, equals the sine of 66, which is the angle we found for B, over B. 26 times the sine of 66, divided by the sine of 81, and you find B to equal about 24. Number 6. This time we're still solving for the triangle, but we do have some multiple choice questions that will help us. So we have 2 angles and a side, so it is AAS. So let me just write that down. 180 minus 24 minus 68 is equal to 88. So far, it could be this one or this one. Then we take the sine of 24 over a, sine of 68 over 14, which is the ratios that were given. To find a, we're going to go 14 times the sine of 24. Find an answer, divide by sine of 68, and we get that a is equal to 6.1. So far it looks like this, but I'm just going to check C to make sure that it's not given. So same ratio here, sine of 68 over 14 equals sine of 84 over C. C is found by taking 14 times sine of 84, divide it by the sine of 68, and you do get 15.1 rounded to the nearest tenth. So it is this one right here. Number 7. Solving, this time we have an angle and two sides. So this is side angle. It's always good to check to see if you're going to use law of sines, because next section we're going to learn law of cosines that we can use different times. So I'm going to use the ratios of a's. Sine of 55 over 12 equals the sine of b over 8. 8 times sine of 55, find an answer, divide by 12. You get a decimal, but the inverse sign of your answer is then equal to 33.1. So it could be this one or this one. Then 180 minus 55 minus 33.1 is equal to 99 or 91.9. So again, it could be the first or the second answer. So we do have to solve for C. The ratios of a's, so sine of 55 over 12 is equal to sine of 91.9, which is angle C, over C. 12 times the sine of 91.9 divided by the sine of 55 is equal to 14.6 when you round it to the nearest tenth. Number 8, well, I have to check to see. Pythagorean theorem only works if it's a right triangle. So I just check. 180 minus 72 minus 44 is not 90 degrees. So this does not have a right angle. So we do have to use the law of sines. So solving the equation, solving the triangle. Sine of 44 over 14 is equal to sine of 72 over a. A is found by taking 14 times the sine of 72. Find an answer, then divide by sine of 44, and you get 19.2 for side A. To find side C, take sine of 44 divided by 14, that same ratio, is equal to the sine of 64, which is the angle of C, over side C. 14 times the sine of 64, find an answer, divide it by sine of 44, and you get about 18.1 when you round it to the nearest tenth. This next problem is really cool because this is an actual problem. And if you wanted to see how far off of that vertical line the Leaning Tower of Pisa is, how many feet, we know it's 4 degrees, but we want to know how many feet across the top of that tower is it from the vertical line. So the first thing I'm going to start out with is to find that angle, the angle that is right there, because I have to find that angle in order to use that side of 183. 180 minus 90 minus 4 is 86. Now I'm going to use that ratio. Sine of 86 divided by 183 is equal to the sine of 4 over d. And when we use our calculator for this, we'll go 183 times the sine of 4, find an answer, divide by sine of 86, and we get about 12.8 feet. So it's off approximately 13 feet. Last one, number 10. You're fertilizing a triangular garden. And all you know is that one side of the garden is 62 feet, and the other side is 54 feet, and the angle opposite the side 62 is B. So we do have a ratio of the B's. So I'm going to use that to find my other pieces of information. Sine of 58 over 62 is equal to sine of C over 54. Find an answer for angle C is 47.6. 180 minus 58 minus 47.6 is 74.4. Now I'm going to use that information to find side A. Sine of 58 over 62 is equal to sine of 74 over 4. So now I know that side A is equal to 70.4 feet. One bag of fertilizer covers an area of 200 square feet. How many bags of fertilizer will you need to cover the entire garden? I need to find the area. So that I'm going to use the area formula, and since I know a side, and an angle, I can use this formula right here, which is 1/2 times the two sides. Oh, I did need to know this other side here, 70.4, because it has to be side, angle, side. 54 times 70.4 times sine of 58 is equal to 1611.97. But the question is asking how many bags of fertilizer do you need? Well, there's 200 square feet in a bag of fertilizer, so you take 1600 divided by, or 1611.97 divided by 200, you get 8 point something something. Now, you can't go to the store and say, I need 8 and a little bit bags of fertilizer. You have to buy 9 bags of fertilizer to cover the entire garden. Okay, hope that helped. Good luck with the assignment.